Welcome to the Post Up, brought to you by the Five Rivers Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Goofy Combo, and today I'm joined by a bunch of Hero fans. We got Gad, we got Ariel, and we got Brian. Today,
Did you ask us how we're feeling? I didn't. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I
might be cutting
had
out.
the YouTube running before.
Yeah,
I think we're all feeling really good though. If that was the question.
Hell yeah, we're feeling great. What?
Yes,
We just
sir.
won a game. This was a must-win, and we won it. Like I have zero complaints tonight.
The
Well,
baby
no, I have a few
goat,
complaints.
baby
Small
goat
complaints.
is back.
yeah, man, great
Really? Is
game
that what we're starting with
overall. Like we got, like you said, the baby goat is back. We got a lot off the bench from Hero and Dragic. So let's get into this game a little bit. We'll start with you, Gad. How did you feel about tonight's game?
Oh, me? Did you say me? Sorry, I zoned out.
He said you.
Listen. This was a very satisfying game to watch because the single weakness of this team turned into the strength, at least for one night. I can't tell you what's going to happen against the Celtics, against the Bucks, against the Sixers, or against the Pistons. I can't tell you what's going to happen. But tonight, Goran and Tyler, 50 points combined? I mean, credit where it's due. These boys showed up, and we've been saying they don't impact the game, whatever. They both showed up, and they impacted the game. I want to give credit where it's due. We've been doing that for players when they play well. Tyler and Goran, they showed up. I mean, Goran with those threes to kind of put the game out of reach once it got close to the end, and then Tyler he wasn't a one-quarter wonder. He played well the entire game. So good stuff. The boy is feeling great after this one.
Yeah. I don't know if Jonathan might be
Great
frozen.
game from the backcourt.
Jonathan, you might have to leave and come
Yeah,
back.
you can
brother.
go ahead and take over.
You're totally.
I'll be right back. Go ahead and take over.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Arrow, go to town.
Yeah. I thought. Listen, that game was probably a little bit closer than I want it to be. Like, just go out there and blow them out. But I'm not going to be too negative tonight. I thought, you made a really good point about the Heat's backcourt, which was, or backup backcourt rather, which was supposed to be like one of the biggest strengths of this team coming into the season. Finally, like we got a really good game out of the backup guards at the same time. And I think I tweeted this out at one point, like Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, and Tyler Hero all played really well at the same time, which feels like
surprising.
That might be the first time they've gotten that all season from all three guys at the same time. Tyler, man, what more can you say? Like I've been one of the biggest Tyler Hero supporters on here all season.
Stop
right
there. I'm doing a Stephen Smith impression. Stop right there, Ariel.
What did I say?
You need to own up.
What did I say?
Listen, Brian, you're the only Hero stan on here. Talk about Hero.
You know what? Tyler Hero made a lot of horrible shots today, and I give him credit for that. I give him credit for throwing the bullshit and making it. Look, I can't argue with the results, right?
27 points.
27
awesome.
points.
No, yeah, I'm saying he was awesome.
To do?
Yeah, I'm saying he scored a lot of points off of some bullshit shots. And if I was the Wolves, I would be heated with some of that shit but it's fine. Like, he's in there to be an ignitable scorer, right? And we talked about this before. He's a consistently inconsistent player. And tonight we got a good Tyler Hero. So I'm glad that after missing the past 7 games, he came out and looked sharp. We need that because him and Goran are basically our only two real offensive options off the bench, and he came through. So props to Tyler.
Listen, I'm surprised that after all the Tyler Hero talk that we just had over the last 2.5 minutes or so, not one of you decided to mention his hair. Is it the haircut? Can we attribute it to that? Because
no, I mean, he should get rid of it immediately. I don't care how good at basketball he is. It's a fucking terrible haircut, and he should never wear that in public again.
I might get the same thing. If he has another game like this, I might.
No.
But buzz cut Gad. Might as well. If he gets 27
like he
again,
gets robbed by 5th graders.
No, in all honesty, though, it was a really satisfying game from Hero. Like, we've been cooking him. Exactly. That's kind of what he looked like once it grows out a little bit. We've been cooking Tyler Hero, so we're going to give him credit tonight. But I do want to talk about other players as well. Let's talk about Goran because, I mean, he's looked better as of late, and then he was the one that put this game out of reach. So, Brian, give me your thoughts on what Goran was able to do throughout the game. 23 points. That's surprising from Goran.
Yeah, man, shout out to the Dragon. I mean, for him, we all know that Goran has the ability to play like this, right? The question is when are you going to get it, right? How consistent can he be with his scoring? And I feel like against a team like the Timberwolves, who is, if not the worst defensive team in the league, probably very close to the bottom, this is a game where you kind of expect Goran to excel. He had his opportunity to play well, and he did. And I think that, given the fact that as of late, he's played better, and given the fact that we're really close to the play-in plus playoffs, you really like to see this momentum going forward, and hopefully he can kind of keep similar. You're not expecting 24 off the bench every night, but 16 points, something like that. That's a good Goran, and you're happy with that. You take that every time.
You say 16? He had 23.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying if he can keep around that. I don't expect 23 off the bench every night. I'm saying that. Yeah. This is really great Goran,
and that's coming off the bench as well. It would be nice. Shout out to Belinsky Pierre. Thank you for the donation. Hero is going to be a good player. Most Heat fans just want quick results. Let him struggle. He's gonna learn. Yeah, played good tonight. We've been really, really quick to judge Tyler Hero. Myself, Ariel, Brian, pretty much everybody involved in this post-game show. We've been quick to judge Hero, and I'm not saying we're absolving of all of his struggles and all of his problems or whatever, but he played well tonight, so I'm going to give credit where it's due tonight. If it becomes consistent, then we will have a much larger spectrum conversation. But for right now, credit for tonight. First game back, 27 points is very impressive. Christian Cardus, my guy, thank you for the donation. White man, the opposite of Samson from the Bible. When they cut their hair, they gain more power. He look and play like he went to Heat Culture boot camp. That's a packed statement, to say the least. Looks like I said last game he got his second culture vaccine. He'll be fine. So, he showed up today, unlike Royal after that second vaccine. So, Royal, hope you're doing all right. Hope you're feeling well. I know that vaccine is kicking your ass, but you'll be back. You'll be all right. Same way Hero showed up today. So, happy with that. I do want to talk about other players here. Ariel.
Sir.
Jimmy or Bam? Pick one.
Oh, I'm talking Jimmy, because Jimmy was I tweeted this out as well. Does he have the best nose for the ball in the league? You guys tell me. On defense, does anybody know where the pass is going, anticipate where he has to be in the passing lanes, and just consistently break shit up, break plays up, he's always in the right spot defensively. He very rarely isn't in the right spot. I just thought he had a ridiculous defensive game. The 5 steals show that, but there were so many instances, especially in the first half, that I noticed he had gotten switched on to Karl Anthony Towns down on the block or in the post, and he would just he's severely undersized in that matchup, and he's breaking the play up. He's knocking the ball away from Cat. He's igniting fast breaks and doing so. I thought Jimmy had a great game in the fourth quarter. Yes, Adam, a parent or guardian may need to be present on the stream, but alas, here we are. I just thought that in the fourth quarter, Jimmy wanted it more than anybody. He played his ass off in the fourth quarter, multiple efforts on the offensive boards and just getting after it all over the court. I thought Jimmy had a spectacular game. The Heat needed the W, and it was a big one for them.
You asked a question to start. Christian Cardus. Call the boy B Jellica because it's hero time.
Hero time.
I appreciate the effort that was put into that statement, Christian. Yeah. That was definitely nice. But you asked a question to start that. You said, is Jimmy... What
is there anybody else in the league that you think has a better nose for the ball on defense?
No.
Right? Brian, anybody?
Could you argue Kawhi?
You can make an argument. I don't think he's the answer, but you can
argue Kawhi, Brian. I dare you.
I don't want to argue Kawhi. I don't think I watched enough Clippers games to argue Kawhi, but
Jimmy's leading the league in steals, and he's played less games than most people. Or at least steals per game by a sizable margin. He's the best. He's absolutely insane. Richard Cambo, thank you for the donation. I really like Tyler in this 9th man role. You guys laughed when I said 9th man last stream.
I'm with you.
Different today because of Duncan's foul trouble. Seems to minimize the defensive exploitation, but gives you enough room for his hot streaks when they come. Yeah. If you're going to have him in a lesser... Oh, Ramakan, welcome back. If you're going to have Hero in a lesser role and kind of have him playing off ball, then these types of games, he can get really ignitable and then hit shots. And then once his confidence is there, he's just dangerous. And I think having good defenders around him can help mitigate that defensive liability. We played some zone when Hero and Dragic were in to start their run in the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. And that obviously helped out because Dwayne Dedmon, I mean, he's Mr. Drop Coverage. You can just get cooked all day, and Dedmon's still deterring shots. So it does help a lot. So, yeah, I like Hero in that role off the bench. I think he fits in well with that group. And tonight we didn't even get a good Duncan or Nunn shooting game, I don't believe. Like, I think Nunn went 0 of 6 from 3, and I don't really know where Duncan was at. But Nunn, I actually thought, still played relatively well. He did really good finishing-wise. He almost had an and one that was really, really impressive. Brian, talk about Kendrick Nunn, your favorite player.
I thought Kendrick Nunn had a decent game. He had some moments where he, the thing that frustrates me about Kendrick Nunn is kind of when he breaks offense and tries to shot create for himself. And, I think that tonight he had a couple of possessions where he looked good doing it. And, if he makes it, I can't complain. He did a really good job again in the paint, shooting that little mid-range shot. And, he's been steady. He's been very consistent, very, very decent game from Kendrick Nunn. What do you have, like 12, just looking at the numbers now, 12, 2 and 2, +1, decent night. You can't ask for, I guess. I mean, when you get a night like that from Kendrick Nunn, you take it. So thought he played pretty decently defensively, didn't get cooked by his man. Shout out to Kendrick Nunn.
Speaking of getting cooked by their man, it seems like Rubio was getting cooked by Duncan Robinson, according to Baby Shack 59. Shout out for the comment. Jonathan, what'd you see from Duncan tonight? Did he get cooked by Ricky Rubio?
I think he said the opposite. I think he said
yeah.
He said Robinson was letting Rubio cook him, as in Robinson had a poor defensive game against the likes of Ricky Rubio.
I completely messed up in saying that. Jonathan, do you hear us?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
No,
back like
I
the
can't.
Good.
The TV, so I'm not really sure where we're going with this. But yeah, how'd you feel about Duncan tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was 2 for 4, right? He was 2 for 4 from deep, but he just couldn't stay in the game because of his foul trouble. Like, he was just picking up those fouls too easily, and if he can't stay on the court, then he can't be effective, and that's unfortunate with him. But luckily, we got a great game off of the backcourt bench, right, from Hero and Goran off the bench, so it wasn't as needed. But sometimes we're not going to get that. So when we don't have those games, we're going to need Duncan to make sure that he's able to stay in the game and stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to do that. I mean, to be able to win this game we only got combined 2 3-pointers from Duncan and Nunn today. We've been relying a lot on them recently, so to be able to do that, I think is a pretty good thing. Let's talk about some older dudes. Let's talk about. We didn't actually talk about Bam, did we?
No.
Nope.
Ooh, I think Bam deserves some topic of conversation. He was almost non-existent in the first half, and then in the third quarter, he really turned it on. I believe he had about like 10 or so points in that quarter.
10 points.
He was outplayed by Karl Anthony Towns, quite honestly, by a landslide, and he was able to draw some fouls. How did you guys feel about Bam's performance tonight?
I mean, I don't think he had a great game for sure. Definitely. I mean, it was a tale of two halves for him, right? Like the first half, like you said, pretty underwhelming, was not particularly effective. Took him until the third quarter, I think, to get his first field goal. Did he have one in the first half or no?
Nope.
No, I think he just had a free throw. He had like 1-1-1 at half.
Right. So, I mean, he had a pretty strong second half, I thought. He had his hands full with Karl Anthony Towns. I thought he had stretches where he played really good defense on Karl Anthony Towns and really made him work, made things tough on him. And then he had stretches where, he was going up against an elite offensive big, and sometimes you're going to lose that matchup. It's just how it is in the NBA. Overall, not the best Bam game. Like I said, I thought he had a solid all-around defensive game. I like the stretch, the offensive stretch that he put together in the third quarter where he was getting a little bit more aggressive, and you could see like it was starting to bleed into other parts of his game where he was saying like, I need to get going here. And the offense led to the defense, and I thought Bam was like all right. You probably want a little bit more from him, but it's similar. The Bam game to me is similar to the whole Duncan and the Kendrick Nunn thing in that they didn't really need it that much. I mean, this was a little bit closer than you wanted it, but I never felt like the Heat were in any real danger of losing this game because they got the support from Tyler and Goran. And when the team gets something like, when they get something like that from the bench, it changes everything for this team. So, you want more from Bam, but I'm not particularly upset tonight. If they had lost, I'd probably be a lot more upset.
Well said. I feel like that would really magnify the scope on Bam, but we didn't. We won, so relatively positive here. Brian, what we see from Bam tonight?
Yeah, I was a little bit frustrated, and like I said, like they won. I think that in a sense, Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic kind of bailed out Bam because they played so damn well tonight. That first half was frustrating, man. I mean, that floor in the third, I loved it. I love seeing Bam aggressive, and you saw when he was aggressive when he decided to attack, he got 10 points right in the quarter, which you take every single time. It's just kind of like, man, defensively, I get it. You're guarding Karl-Anthony Towns in the first half. He had some foul trouble, which obviously impacts how well he's going to play. But it kind of feels like if Michael Jackson decided that he only wanted to be a backup singer on a song. It's like, nah, man, you have the talent to be the lead, right?
Yes, sure.
And sometimes I feel like it's the same with Bam, where it just kind of felt like offensively he was floating, right? It's like I want someone to grab Bam and tell him that his job is not just to set screen for others. Like you have Naz Reid, and as good as Karl-Anthony Towns is, he cannot hold Bam defensively. This absolutely is a game where I felt like Bam should have had 20 plus. I mean, the Wolves are one of the worst teams at defending the paint in the league, right? So I mean, Bam can drive by Karl-Anthony Towns all day, right? And there's no one that's going to stop him from getting to the rim. And once he's there, he's probably going to finish. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating. They won. At the end of the day, you can't say too much. He had a decent game, but I just would have expected more from him.
Yeah, I think I like what you said with he should be able to go at Karl-Anthony Towns, because Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean, I guess doesn't look to play that horrible of defense. When you really see the way that he plays defense, he's constantly just backpedaling towards the rim, and he has his hands out like this, just fouling people. Because you can draw 6 fouls on him in one half. He's fouled out, I believe, 6 times this season. I think they said that on a Bally's Sports Sun broadcast today. Karl-Anthony Towns, like, you can make him foul out really easy, and Bam had stretches of drawing fouls on him, but I feel like, honestly, there could have been more of a concerted effort to just attack him, because if he's not fouling, you're getting a bucket. Karl-Anthony Towns isn't blocking many shots. Jonathan, thoughts on Bam tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered a lot of it. I felt like he just wasn't the aggressive Bam that you want to see offensively in that first half. He did, like you said, you can't go a full half not at least having a shot attempt. And for him to do that just showed how his lack of aggression was there. Third quarter, he picked it up. He had those 10 points, and he showed he was able to do it. He was even hitting jump shots. He had the one jump shot where he thought he got fouled on it, so he just put it up, and he still made the shot. So the offensive talent is there. The ability to hit the jump shot is there, but he's just not doing it consistently. And, he didn't give you the best game tonight. Other people did step up, but when we don't have those other guys step up, we're going to need him to make sure he comes up and fills those holes.
Yeah, I think tonight was a team win almost, and that's kind of what you want to see from this team. Just find a way to win, because a lot of this season has been finding a way to lose, and that's why we've been so frustrated with this team. But they were able to find a way to win tonight. Don't really care how exactly it looked. A win is a win. We got it, and now they are in good shape going into these 2 games against Boston. I do want to touch on this. The Bulls beat the Celtics by about 20 tonight. Not really sure exactly why that happened. I don't know what the status is with Jaylen Brown. I believe Jason Tatum, he was like 3 of 15 from the field when I checked, so a very inefficient game from him. But let's talk about these games against the Celtics, right? Because this pretty much is the season. You don't want to go to the play-in game. Ideally, you probably try to get like Milwaukee as a 3 seed. I don't know if Brooklyn or Milwaukee's there, but I do want to talk about this. Do you guys think that it's realistic that we can go in there and win 2 games in a row? Like, do you guys see that as something that can happen the way that this team has been playing, and the way that Boston has been playing? Or do you think it's destined to be a split or 2-0 Boston?
I mean, it's possible. I think the most likely outcome is a split, right? Like we've seen time and time again this season. I don't remember what the number was, but I saw a stat that said that like when teams are playing consecutive games against each other this year, that it's pretty close in terms of the teams splitting those games. It usually doesn't go 2-0. I just think, look, like you said, it's the biggest 2 games of the season for the Heat. Right now, they've moved the game up on Boston. They need those games. If they split, though, they've given themselves a cushion by winning this game as Boston lost their game. So if they split, they would exit those 2 games still up 1 game, right? The difference there being that the Celtics on paper have an easier remaining strength of schedule than the Heat do, whereas the Heat still have games, like I believe, against Milwaukee, Philly, and then they end the season with, like, is it Detroit, I believe?
Yeah.
So they end the season with Detroit. You got to get those games, man. Like you said, don't know if Jaylen Brown's going to be in there. Bam has a huge advantage against that team, especially on the interior. I know they've added Tristan Thompson this season.
And
but
Robert Williams is going to be out for that game as well.
That is an excellent point. I remember seeing that today. You're right. Robert Williams, a very good defender around the rim. Not having him is, I mean, Bam should have a monster couple of games. He averaged like 22 and 14 or something like that against them in the playoffs last season. So you want to see Bam get going. If the Heat can come out with 2 wins there, they're basically locked into the 6 seed or the 5 seed. They stay out of the play-in. So 2 wins should be the goal. I don't know how likely it is. We're going to have to see, if Tyler and Goran can keep this up, but those are 2 massive, massive games.
Yeah, I mean, if you win both of those games, you're already 1 game up on Boston. You will then be 3 games up on Boston with the tiebreaker. So it will literally be impossible for Boston to come back. So you win both those games. Because Boston lost tonight, you can clinch the 6th seed, I believe. Because we only have 3 games left after that, 1 against Philly, right, Milwaukee, and Detroit. So that is going to be, I mean, these 2 games, I'm excited. Sunday, Mother's Day, after I have a nice lunch with my mom, I'm going to come and watch this game, and hopefully the Heat are able to win this game. Brian, do you think that the Heat can win both of these games in Boston?
They can. They absolutely can.
Do you think they will?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know that they will. I mean, we've just seen this team be so damn inconsistent where, they could come out and look like world beaters on Sunday. Clearly just, they could blow Boston out by 30 and I would still feel extremely concerned about the next game just because that's how they played. Like up and down, up and down. This is just what we expect at this point. I think that in theory, like Ariel mentioned, I think that this is a series or a 2-game series that sets up very well for Bam, especially if Robert Williams is out. I don't know if he's going to see it that way. I mean, it's just, who knows at this point. I don't know what team's going to show up on Sunday. I don't know which team is going to show up on, I'm guessing Tuesday is probably the next game. But yeah, these games are incredibly important. I would imagine that Jimmy Butler specifically knows how important these 2 games are, because I know that he wants that week of rest. I don't know. I don't have confidence that they can go 2-0.
Perfect response. Like, with this team, you really can't have that much confidence. Speaking of confidence, Tyler Hero had confidence tonight. Jonathan, I don't believe you got a chance to talk about Tyler Hero because of your Wi-Fi. Give us your thoughts on Boy Wonder and how you feel about it tonight.
I mean, like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, this team needs Tyler Hero. We just absolutely need Tyler Hero.
Stop right there.
I've always said he had a high ceiling. I've been consistently saying he's had a high ceiling.
How high of a ceiling?
He showed that ceiling tonight, right? He showed you he could be, as far as what he can be offensively. Defensively, he still struggled. I was trying to keep an eye out there, and he was still struggling defensively. But offensively, he gave you a lot of things that you like to see. You love to see that pull-up 3 in transition. It's one of my favorite shots. I know Royal loves that one too. But just a lot of great things from Tyler Hero tonight. But seriously, he was good offensively. He took a couple of shots that are not the best quality looks, but he was hitting them. So if he's going to give you that, you're happy with that. And I feel like maybe before that game became closer to a blowout, we saw what he should be is like maybe a 20-minute spurt just coming off the bench as instant offense instead of playing him 30 to 35 minutes, trying to use him as a full game player.
I like that. I totally agree. Use him as the microwave. That's what he can do.
I really want to come back in on the Tyler Hero thing because I've been thinking about this lately, and like him having a good game tonight after missing some time lends more credence to the theory that you had, Gad, where, as soon as he got hurt in the Laker game, was it?
Yes, on February 18th, I believe it was. From that season, it was a tale of 2 seasons with his numbers. Like, he was objectively horrible after that hip injury without Caruso.
Okay, so, I've been thinking about that. And of course, like, I don't know for a fact that he was hurt, is hurt, what the situation is there. All I know is that after that game, the season kind of turned for the worst for him. He was substantially more productive before that point. And now he misses a stretch of games, comes back, has a really good game. Now, we only have a 1-game sample size in his return, seeing him play this well. So I can't, say that I expect this going forward. But he definitely showed flashes last year of being this type of player, a guy who's ignitable, who can get you buckets in scramble situations, and sometimes out of pick and roll. He's become a little bit better with that. We saw that more specifically in the bubble last season. The pick and roll creation had taken a massive jump when he'd returned to play last year. So who knows if maybe he was hurt. In all seriousness, with Tyler Hero, he is a very streaky player. I don't think he's as bad a three-point shooter as he's been this season as a whole. So, if he can get back to being closer to what we saw over a much longer, bigger sample size last year, changes things for this team in a big way.
It definitely does. That does bring the question that I'd want to ask all of you guys. And Brian, we'll start with you. If you had to guess, if you had to pick one player from this Heat team, and I don't want any repeats here, or maybe you can repeat if you want, but over the next 2 games against Boston, which single player would you define as the X factor going into this 2-game series against Boston?
Jimmy Butler, strictly because he's the best player. He's the best facilitator. He's either the first or second best defender. And this team goes as Jimmy goes. So, if he's not playing well, then you could expect the rest of the team to follow. If he's playing really, 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 really well, Jimmy is emotional. He's doing all the things that we love Jimmy for. I think you can expect this team to follow, and hopefully, we get that ladder, that really intense, monster, insane Jimmy who, is putting up triple doubles, and we're calling Jim VP.
It's possible. It's really possible. Like, we've seen Jimmy do it multiple times this year. He's just put the team on his back for a few games, and that'll do it. Jonathan, who's your X factor for these 2 games?
Well, I assuming you were trying to talk about somebody who's not kind of a star. So who I was thinking was Duncan Robinson, right? Because when Duncan Robinson is hitting on all cylinders, that's when I feel like this offense is moving the ball really well. This team is getting the shots that we want to get off, because this team is kind of built around Duncan Robinson and around him. So I feel like if he's able to take off, hit maybe 5 to 7 threes in those 2 games, he can really raise what this team can do, especially now having Hero and Goran coming off the bench.
Okay, Duncan, Ariel.
First of all, I just want to say I don't expect Tyler Hero to do this going forward. So everybody in the comments, relax. Y'all know where I'm at with Tyler, but I would love to be wrong.
Where are you at with Tyler?
I just think he's an inefficient, guard who just isn't able to create separation consistently. And so that limits his ability as a scorer and his potential long-term. I want to be wrong very badly because it would be good for the Heat, but alas, here we are. Now, as for the X factor in the Boston series, I'm going to go Bam. Has to be Bam, man. Like, he has a huge matchup advantage in that series against that team and their personnel. It's got to be Bam.
Okay, I hear you with Bam, and I agree. If Bam has a really, really good game, then we most likely will have a good chance to win. So by definition, I could agree that Bam is the X factor. But I'm actually going to go onto the bench here. I'm not going to talk about the guards. I'm going to talk about my guy, Dwayne Dedmon. I will say it because of this. If you look at the times that we played against Boston Celtics, Brad Stevens honestly gets absolutely dunked on by Spo. But the only thing that he does that works is he plays Enes Kanter for 15 minutes, and that is an instant 12 and 8 every single time that he comes into the game. And it's honestly a little run. They go on like I'll say like a 14-4 run every time Enes Kanter comes in, because he literally just gets offensive rebounds and he puts it up and it goes in. But with Dwayne Dedmon, that won't happen. Dwayne Dedmon will body this man, and that's 13 minutes of the bench being productive against a really, really, really shallow Boston team. So if Dwayne Dedmon is able to hold his own, you have Jimmy and Bam most likely just going against Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. I think Enes Kanter isn't even on the team anymore. Are you serious?
No, is he in Portland? I think he's in. No,
I don't even know where he is, bro. Anyway,
where's Enes
they
Kanter?
always
he's in
play
Portland.
it's a backup big. Okay, they don't have Robert Williams. The backup big, whoever it is, Dwayne Dedmon is going to stop. Okay, I did not know that Enes Kanter is on the Blazers.
I don't think anybody knows where Enes Kanter is. Nobody followed his career.
Since we're talking about other
Dwayne
teams,
Dedmon, the backup big, is going to make an impact. And you know what? I'm going to sit in silence now. I'm going to take a lap.
while we're here talking about other teams, y'all should tune into the Full Court Press. You missed the last episode. It was Gad, myself, and Marco. We talked about all kinds of other teams around the NBA. That aired on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Just a couple of days ago, so you can find it there. We will know that Enes Kanter plays for the Blazers next time.
Jonathan,
Brian,
it's all you now.
Give me Biscayne Bay Brewing, Brian.
Biscayne Bay Brewing. I love some Biscayne Bay Brewing. You know, if this game had gone the other way, I probably would have been drinking it. I mean, that assuming I live in Miami because I'm like a few thousand miles from there. But if I wasn't, I would be drinking one of the delicious Tropical Bay IPAs. Marsh. Oh my God, I can't effing talk. Marlin's Lager, Pastime Pilsner, Miami Pale Ale, La Colada Porter, or the brand new Regatta Double IPA, which has an alcohol content of 8.2%. Damn, that's crazy. But I feel like that would be the perfect drink for this Friday. They are the official craft beer of the Miami Marlins, who y'all love because y'all love baseball. It's a great sport. They hit balls with sticks, which is, you can't get much more entertaining than that. They are independently owned, or they are locally owned, independently brewed in the heart of Miami. So if you want to support Miami, you want to support the culture, you should go out today and grab yourself a Biscayne Bay Brewing at wherever you get beers or just alcohol in general, or you go to a restaurant, you ask for it, they'll probably have it. Yeah, that's my plug.
That's the Biscayne Bay Brewing plug.
Lovely,
Yep.
lovely.
Triple
So
Bs.
let's get into the rest of the season because we have 5 games remaining. Is it 5
Yes.
games remaining?
Yes.
And taking a look at the standings right now, we're probably going to catch up a half game on the Knicks because the Knicks are probably going to lose to the Suns tonight. Although that game is close, so I'm not going to call it just yet.
Do we know the score of that game right now?
We can find out. We got the internet. Google specifically. Y'all should use Google. It's a great search engine. Oh, the Knicks are up by 9.
They're up 7.5 according to this.
Or 7.5. Okay.
Well, avoid the play-in, honestly.
They want the Knicks. That's the matchup. Any other matchup they lose in the first round. It's my prediction. I'll put money on it.
You think they lose to the Hawks?
Can they get the Hawks? Is that possible?
Yeah, they could end up in the 4-5.
The Knicks, if the Knicks lose out and we win out, we can most likely catch the Hawks.
I feel like the Hawks would go 6. I guess in that case I'd lean Miami, but I think the Hawks take a couple games. It'd be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
We're half
any
game
of the
behind
top
right now.
Huh. Then yeah, okay. Any series which involves the Bucks, 76ers, or Nets in the first round is probably not great for Miami. Ideally, you want the Knicks. I think they're the easiest matchup for the Heat. They're 3-0 versus them. That's what you want.
Who would you guys prefer to that first round matchup if you had to pick between Milwaukee or Brooklyn, because those are probably the two more likely if we get that 6 or 5 or that 6 seed. Who do you guys think we will end up playing in that first round?
I'll end up playing. It probably will be Brooklyn, but who do I want? If I had to pick between Milwaukee or Brooklyn, I want Milwaukee. We live rent-free in their heads. Mike Budenholzer really just did not know what to do against Spo last year. We have the personnel to match up with Giannis. I mean, I'm fine with whatever team we get, though. Like Jimmy Butler, just put him in a dogfight, see what happens, and we'll go from there. But I want the Bucks. If you're making me pick between those two teams, I think the Bucks are the type of team that in the half court, the Heat could still give them problems. I don't know if they can do that as much against Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would much rather play the Bucks as well. I'd much rather play the Bucks. I think for all the reasons that Gad stated, and also the fact that Brooklyn just has more top end talent overall, and in the playoffs, that's usually what wins series. The Heat have a game plan that they can go to that has worked for them in the past. Will it work again? I don't know, but we've seen it work for them against Milwaukee, where they build the wall against Giannis and try to force the other players to beat them in the half court. But man, like it's not something you can really do against Brooklyn, right? Because they have 3 guys who can single-handedly like destroy you in any given night. You can't double anybody. You can't help off of James Harden, Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving. So there's not really a ton there. The one matchup that Miami has to exploit in that series is the Bam matchup inside, but I just don't think it's enough to overcome what the Nets have at the top of the roster. So I guess I'd rather play Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Before we get to Brian, Ariel, talk about our boys, Therapist Preferred.
Yes, I have the talking points in front of me, so I'm going to read them off to you. They are a CBD company founded in 2019 by a physical therapist to optimize performance and recovery for active people. They are 100% THC free and third-party lab verified. All of their products are made in the USA with cutting-edge technology from organically grown hemp. They are their most popular products are the CBD sports cream, the strawberry lemonade, and green apple flavored gummies, and USDA certified organic tincture. I don't know what tincture is. Free shipping on all orders, and use the promo code 5reasons. That's the number 5 and then reasons for 20% off your order. So shop now at therapistpreferred.com. And that's that.
25% off is a great deal. You guys can't pass up on that. And it's like free money.
It's 20% off.
20%. That's still a great deal.
Yeah, 20.
Still a fantastic deal.
Not as good of a deal.
It's a good enough deal.
It's 5% worse.
5% worse.
It's a good enough deal still.
Tyler Hero shot 5% better from 3 tonight. He was on one.
Also versus the worst 3-point defending team in the league. But that's fine. He had a good game. I don't hate Tyler.
Are you ever happy, Brian? Are you ever happy about things?
That's a good question.
Never satisfied. That's crazy.
So versus I think I'd rather play the Bucks. I mean, I'm very scared of the Nets. I don't want to watch a series where Kyrie Irving and James Harden abuse our guards. They have no chance in that series. So, yeah, I mean, that's not to say that I wouldn't favor the Bucks in a series, but I feel like it'd be much more competitive than one versus the Nets. And we beat them in 5 last year, so that makes me feel good. I know that they got Drew, but it's gonna be Heat in 5 again.
Last year we didn't have Dwayne Dedmon.
That's a big factor. I don't know who on the Bucks matches up with Dwayne Dedmon. It's the GOAT, best 21 in history.
But no one. To answer your question, no one matches up with Dwayne Dedmon around the NBA.
Yeah, I don't think Brook Lopez can stop Dwayne Dedmon. That man's a monster.
Double D's.
No, I want to get to something that I'm curious to see if we can sustain going into the end of the season, right? With Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic having this kind of resurgence, right? Hero having his first good game coming back, and then Goran has kind of been playing a little bit better recently. Greg mentioned it in the pregame that he's been playing a little bit better recently. Dedmon's obviously been playing like a boss. Do you think what we're getting off the bench from these 3 guys do you think it could be consistent?
Define what we get off the bench, like 50 points, because they had 50 something off the bench tonight.
Just something offensively, offensive support off the bench where they're not a full negative.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, it depends, right? Because I think the defense off the bench is getting much better because Dwayne Dedmon is there, and that alone helps the guards immensely. And at the same time, he's a really good screen setter, and Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic at this point need screens in order to do anything. So I think Dedmon honestly unlocks so much with his bench unit. And then I don't know if Victor Oladipo is coming back or not. We haven't gotten any update at all. But if Victor Oladipo is able to come back, most likely he's coming off the bench at least to start. Then you have a really lethal 3-guard rotation that can play similar to what they did with Goran Dragic and Nunn, Tyler, Goran and Nunn. So, I mean, I think they could become positive off the bench, at least not this much of, or as much of a negative as they've been throughout the season. I think they can definitely step it up going into the playoffs, and that'd be huge for this team.
Now, before we get to you, Ariel, talk to us about our boy Miami Grill.
Our boy Miami Grill. Is that what you just said?
Our boy, one person, Miami Grill.
My guy, Miami Grill. Listen, Miami Grill. Honestly, if we win on Mother's Day, I will show up and I will eat Miami Grill on stream. I'm out of it tonight. I will eat Miami Grill on stream on Tuesday. I'll just show up. I'll eat whatever meal it is that I get from there. I'll just eat it while we're on stream. Won't say much. Totally fine. But Miami Grill's is great. Honestly, they have all the kind of food that you want. They're open late. Great place to eat. They got all the good stuff. They got gyros, cheesesteaks, burgers, fries, wings. If
anything you're craving.
At Miami Grill, we've been delivering big favorites from big places for over 30 years. We use fresh ingredients that pack bold flavors, and we always deliver your food the way you like it. So tonight, don't just bring home dinner, bring home Miami.
Yeah, I'm out of it. I said NS.
Royal, Manny, we need you guys.
This is
But yeah, go check out our boys Miami Grill. They got great food. Ariel, how do you feel about if the bench can be sustainable?
I don't know, man. I mean, I've just got a much larger sample size of them not being good this season. Overall, the Heat have, I believe, I want to say bottom third bench in terms of scoring output, but I might be wrong. Like on paper, they should be better, right? Like Goran should be, at least we thought he would be going into this season, a 15 to 20 point per game guy. That was the lasting memory that we had of Goran from last year's playoffs. We expected Tyler Hero to take another jump in his development and be that guy. At least, actually, we thought he was going to be a starter, but now that he's on the bench, I mean, on paper, they should be better. Now they have only had Dwayne Dedmon for a few weeks now. 12 games. So, I mean, like, I don't know if I think Gad makes a really good point in him being just a boost to the bench and being a solid pick and roll partner for guys like Goran, like Tyler Hero. So I don't know if this is the type of game that jumpstarts Tyler Hero's season, this late into the season. That would be phenomenal for the prospect, of the bench being better, but I just don't know if I can get there with this team. They've been too consistently inconsistent this season, so I'm just not ready to prognosticate that I think that all of a sudden the bench is going to become a strength. But if there's any room for improvement there and it does show itself, that would also be a huge boost for this team.
Ryan, where are you at with it?
I trust Dwayne Dedmon to be consistent. I mean, his whole job is just be a tall dude for 15 minutes and give energy, which is pretty simple, Tyler Hero, I don't think he's going to be consistent at all. I think it's going to be up and down, just like his whole season has been essentially. Goran, I think it completely depends on whether or not they get that week of rest. I think that's going to be super, super important for him going forward. Same with Iggy. I think that he is obviously going to be a key factor for them in this playoff run. But if they end up in the play-in and they have to play 2 games and then at playoff intensity, because that's what that's going to be, and then they're going into a first round series versus one of the Bucks or Nets, then it's looking like trouble. But it really depends. Ultimately, I'm going to lean no, just because that's how the season has been. But I do think that at least Goran and Iggy are, they've been in the league for so long. They've been through so many playoff trials and tribulations that I feel like, they know how to play in that kind of a setting and find ways to be consistent. But I wouldn't entirely bet on it.
Yeah, man, perfectly. I mean, I think that's the motto of this season is just we've been so inconsistent. It's hard to predict absolutely anything. We can go and beat Brooklyn, and then we'll go and we'll lose to Minnesota, and then this time we actually beat Minnesota. So we never know what we're getting from this team, but closing into the playoffs, it seems like Jimmy wants to get us there. I like the way we've been closing out most of the games recently, the ones that we've had Jimmy Butler. But, outside of that, I feel like, we do have something moving forward into the playoffs. 5 games remaining. We have Boston coming up in a 2-game series, and then we have Philly, Bucks, and Detroit. Is that the last 5?
Yep.
Awesome. And, I think we can get up at least to the 5 seed, out here. I think we do have a chance to get that up, especially with if the Hawks, if Trae Young is still out, those games, they can still slip. And if New York has a tough time on this road trip. Before we close up, we want to talk about our boys Vertagear, and a shout out to our friend of the show in the comments, Christian Carduce, who actually got his Vertagear chair. And you can actually, what you're going to do, you're going to see this beautiful chair right here. I have the Miami Heat red and black, as you see. Christian Carduce also did get the red and black to support our boys, the Miami Heat. So it's looking good, right? So what you want to do, you want to go into the description below. We have the affiliate link. Click on it. Go ahead. And you're going to actually put your weight and your height in. You're not going to look for the chair because it's going to look for the chair for you. Why go search through all the ones you don't know much about it anyways? They're going to do it for you. They're going to get you the best support for your back, the best support for your butt, everything, so you're not developing low back pain when you get old. I know a lot of you guys have grandparents or parents that have low back pain. Make sure you don't get that stuff when you get older. Take care of everybody now so you don't have to worry about yourself later. Get yourself a Vertagear chair. Go ahead and click that link in the description. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these upcoming shows we have. Guys. Let's talk about the Full Court Press, and we'll start with you, guy. Go ahead and break down Full Court Press.
Full court press. Yes, it is we being Ariel Atias sitting below me right now. The great Marco Romo, who's on the 5 on the Floor pod last night, and myself. We talked about general NBA. We're pretty much going to have like a play-in/playoff preview coming up very, very soon. Maybe like ranking contenders before the NBA playoffs. And we just talk about general NBA, lots of shouts out to young guys that maybe don't get as much credit around the league. This week I talked about Isaac Okoro. We've talked about Darius Garland, Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of young guys around the league that are just really, really good players. Talk about them a lot. Talk about general state of the NBA. We talked about how Anthony Davis is having a very, very subpar season that seemingly no one is talking about, and the fact that Bam has been better than him this year. But yeah, I mean, we talk about all the good stuff with the NBA, everything that's happening. It's going to keep going. Enes Kanter. Yeah, that's tough. We're not going to talk about Enes Kanter on there. I will never talk about Enes Kanter again. But yeah, we talk about general NBA. It's a great time. It's a good show. We pull out some stats and stuff. Definitely tune in. I don't know exactly when our next episode is going to be. If I had to guess, I would say probably next Wednesday, but we will see.
Ariel, talk about walkouts and knockouts.
Oh, yes, sir. Walkouts and Knockouts is a UFC pre-fight preview show that the man to my top left and myself, so Jonathan Romlicon, and I do for you all. We preview whatever UFC event is happening that night, so it will usually be on Saturdays at 4 p.m. There will be one tomorrow, and we will preview the Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Watterson UFC Fight Night at the UFC Apex. You've got Cowboy Cerrone and Alex Morono. Neil Magny's fighting Jeff Neal. Bunch of good fights, so we'll get on there. Yes, sir. We'll get on there. We will break down the fights. We'll give you betting picks, some parlays. We'll make predictions. It'll be a good time, and we'll do it right as we'll usually lead you right into when the prelims will start, so you'll get to hop right into the fights. You'll know a lot more about them going into it. So again, that's tomorrow, 4 p.m. Myself, Jonathan Romlicon, 5 Reasons YouTube.
Awesome. Brian, talk about the shoot-around.
The shoot-around is a 140-second video done by Gadiel Cartagena and Ariel Tias, the two to my side over here. I don't know sides, but it's a great show. They post it every game day morning. Get your information on what the Heat need to do before every game. That means that there's going to be one Sunday morning that will be posted on either of their Twitters and I believe on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I think it's a good thing to watch with your moms out there. If y'all like basketball, be a basketball family, get together, watch the shoot around, just a little thing before you go and do Mother's Day stuff. So yeah, check it out. It's great. You guys want to be smart, informed Heat fans and watch the shoot around every game day morning.
Lovely, man. Lovely. And as always, we got the good, the bad, and the ugly. The return of the series. We started back a couple of games ago. I'll have that tomorrow for you. We're going to just take a little bit of a closer look of the negative aspects from this game. And then we'll go ahead and, check it out on the YouTube channel from there. So before we finish this show, we have to ask this question because of our boy Royal. We got Boston coming up Sunday. Gad, the boy feeling good?
The boy's feeling good. I haven't said that in a while, too, but the boy's actually feeling good going into Sunday. Mother's Day, Bam. Bam loves his mom more than almost anybody on this entire planet. And Mother's Day, Bam is going to be a thing. That's all I can say. The Heat are going to play well. Dwayne Dedmon, Bam Adebayo are going to combine for 20 rebounds. And we're going to win this game. Feel better, Royal.
Ariel, if my Wi-Fi is working, the boy feeling good?
The boy thinks he's feeling good. Boy's still scared of his emotions when it comes to this team, but you know what? Tonight was a good win. I think it's really, really, really put up or shut up time now. So, yeah, the boy's feeling good. The Celtics, I think, will be without Jaylen Brown, though I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna predict a Heat W.
Lovely. Brian, the boy feeling good?
Is this game being played in Boston or Miami?
Both in Boston.
Yeah.
Both in Boston? Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. The boy not feeling good. They had a pretty good win today, which means you all know what time it is. They're going to lose this game in extraordinary fashion. It's going to be beautiful, entertaining. They're probably going to put up like 40 points in the first quarter, and then it's going to go downhill, and it's going to look bad. So the boy not feeling good.
Can we put up a Baby Shaq comment here? That is actually really, really funny.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, that would be something. If he sits out, we're gonna have to praise this man.
We should put it out there that those 1 o'clock like Sunday games have historically not been great to the Heat. So just something to look out
Neither
for.
are Tuesdays. The Heat are 2-7 on Tuesdays this year. Bam averages like 14 points on Tuesdays.
We were this close to using that stat.
Sunday's the day. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, man. And of course, because Royal's not here, I'm gonna do it. You know where we at? The Heat gonna blow this shit out, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this win. I'm gonna hit the outro. Y'all boys have a good game. We'll see you on the next day on the YouTube Fight 5 Reasons Sports Network. Wow, what an exit.